Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me and thank you for your continued support. Well, I did a video a little while ago, you might well have seen it, where I was talking about certain reports that the DWP were hiding. They were hiding it from general public because they, a lot of people believed that they were quite damning reports. Well, it looks as though now, according to the Disability News Service, that some of those reports have been released to the public. And they are going to go through them, and I'll show you what some of these excerpts from some of these complaints said. It makes for very difficult reading at times, so there is going to be certain trigger words mentioned, so if you are sensitive to certain words around people passing away, then do be aware of that. But let's take a look at the article and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so DWP publishes parts of secret reports that show fatal errors on universal credit days after MPs vote for cuts. The Department for Work and Pensions has finally released excerpts of secret reports that show how its errors contributed to the deaths of universal credit claimants just days after MPs voted for a $2 billion a year cut to the universal credit health element. The Disability News Service has been trying to secure the release of this information since November 23, with the case eventually reaching the Information Rights Tribunal. DWP had to promise the tribunal that the information was intended for future publication, but it then waited to release it until MPs voted through the Universal Credit Bill, and even then it only released part of the information. And I'm not entirely sure, I don't wonder why either when you read it. The information released, all from secret internal process reviews, or IPRs, completed by the DWP in 2022-2023, shows there were 25 cases of serious harm or even passing away involving universal credit in which a civil servant identified learning for the department. This information was held back from the public and MPs, even though there are serious concerns that the Universal Credit Bill will increase the number of disabled people who are subject to strict conditions in exchange for their out-of-work benefits. Many disabled campaigners say it's also unclear what will happen to the protection currently provided by the substantial risk criteria, which over the last 3 decades has protected countless disabled people at risk of suicide and other harm if found fit for work or work-related activity. The IPR extracts reveal repeated and serious failings by DWP staff in the lead-up to serious harm caused to disabled claimants and even passing away. Information from IPRs from 2021, 21-22 and 23-24 has yet to be released by the DWP. Among the 2022-23 reviews, one IPR found customer had difficulty accessing their online Universal Credit Journal, but messages were still communicated via this channel. Another in the 2022-23 batch found the customer's needs and vulnerability details were provided, but opportunities to support them and refer to other services were missed. A third review concluded concerns around the customer's welfare were not raised with the appropriate team. The correct process was not followed when the customer failed to make contact. Colleagues did not respond sensitively when it was reported that the customer had attempted to pass away. A fourth review reported that one of the private sector providers of work capability assessments, it is not clear which one, did not take immediate action when they were made aware that the customer was at risk of harm. Yet another found the correct process was not followed when reviewing customers' placement in the work-related activity group, and the Universal Credit team did not share all relevant information on customers' mental health with the assessment provider, while the claimant did not receive responses to journal messages they sent requesting support. The extracts from the IPRs do not make it clear which of these disabled people referred to suffering serious harm and which of them passed away following the department's failings. One of the most serious failings identified by the IPRs is that DWP civil servants are still failing to follow the strict guidelines known as the 6-point plan, which tells work coaches and others what to do when a claimant discloses they intend to harm themselves or take their lives. 5 years ago, DNS reported how IPRs into as many as 6 of these between 2014 and 2019 were linked to the failure of DWP staff to follow the 6-point plan, which was first introduced in 2009. 2 of the 2022-23 IPRs mentioned failures relating to the 6-point plan. One Universal Credit IPR found that the correct process was not followed when the customer declared they may attempt to harm themselves, with the agreed activity following the review suggesting this disclosure was made in writing. Another IPR that appears to have involved the teams responsible for incapacity benefit, employment and support allowance, disability living allowance and personal independence payment concluded that there had been no evidence of any action being taken regarding there being a potential risk to the customer. The agreed activity was that of one of the teams would highlight to all colleagues the importance of using the 6-point plan in all instances of customers declaring this intent. Another disturbing cross-benefit IPR from 22-23 reported how the UC team failed to inform their colleagues in ESA on more than one occasion that the customer had advised of their deteriorating mental health and vulnerability, while there was a delay in requesting a safeguarding visit after receiving a journal message from the customer advising their mental health had deteriorated. Yet another IPR reported that a disabled claimant had requested reasonable adjustments in how UC should contact them, which were not met, while repeated attempts made to contact the claimant to attend a face-to-face appointment, despite them being unable to do so, with complaints made by the customer not being responded to. And the article goes on. I will leave a link to it in the description below, as I always do. It really is tragic when you think about it, when you think that this department, who is supposed to help people, supposed to give them support and flag up potential issues with the appropriate department, don't do it, and have not done it on a number of occasions. And this is why I've said before, and I know other people have said, they think the DWP isn't fit for purpose. I don't like that phrase, but I think it's fair in this instance. I don't think it works. I think it's completely corrupted and just doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And I think it should be disbanded and a new department set up with different staff, different managers, and with a whole complete overhaul. It won't happen, of course, because it'll cost too much money, but I think that's the only way forward, to be fair. But let me know down in the comment section what you think. I know those are horrible reports that I was talking about. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I would love to hear those. And please do subscribe. If you've seen this channel before, please do subscribe to keep the channel moving forward. And I'll see you next time.